All right, so this is the third lesson on multiplying, dividing rational expressions. So here today we're going to divide. So dividing by a fraction, again, can always be thought of in terms of multiplying by its reciprocal. So one of my students used to sing a song, dividing by fraction is easy as pie. Flip the second and multiply. So she sang that all the time during this section. But there you go. That's how she remembered. All right, so we're going to simplify the following division problem. Again, we have to flip the second and multiply. So we're going to rewrite it as a multiplication problem because you can't really divide by a fraction. You multiply by its reciprocal. So there we go. We flip that second fraction. So there you go. Let me turn on my writing tools. So this got flipped. And so it looks like that. Now we can do what we normally would do and just simplify it out. So let's start with the variables. That's pretty easy because x over 2 is going to cancel. We'll have x to the 6 here, y 7. That's going to be y squared. So now it's going to knock out all these fractions. These numerical values. So here, let's go ahead and reduce 15 over 6. They both have a 3 in it. So 5, this pen sucks, over 6 divided by 3 is 2. All right, so we have 5 and 2. So this 2 cancels, this 2 cancel, this 5 cancel, and that 5 cancel. And when you look at that, we only have variables. So our answer is y squared over x to the 6. That's pretty easy. Let's try another one. Multiplying by fraction is easy as pie. Flip the second. So we're going to flip the second. And then we're going to multiply. So there we go. So again, we want to do the same thing. Let's get those variables out the way. So we have an x at the top, an x third. That's going to be x to the second power. And then we have a y sixth and a y second. They'll turn into a y to the fourth. So that's easy. Now let's reduce these. So 30 over 20 both can be divided by 10. So I'm just going to do that so I can see. It's just easier to look at. So we have 3 over 2. So now let's reduce that 8 over 24. So 8 does go into 24, so they share 8. So 8 divided by 8, that's a 1. And 24 divided by 8 is 3. So I know my 3's are ugly. I got to get a better pen. Okay, so we're going to cancel 3. And so the only thing that seems left is 2 for our numerical value, our integer. So we should have y fourth, I see, in 2x squared. There you go. So hopefully you tried it on your own, the second problem on your own, to see if you can do it. So here we go. So now hopefully you're following with the notes. Again, dividing by fractions, easy as pie. Flip the second and multiply. So we're going to flip this second. All right. So we flipped it. Now, what else do you think we have to do? Oh, we got to factor. We got to factor. Okay, so since we have to factor, we need some space to factor. So let's do x squared negative 8. So we have a negative 8. And we need to add to a 2. So what two numbers multiply to give you negative 8? Add up to 2. Oh, wonderful. 4 and 2. And we need a negative 2, and that'll do it. So there we go. We got our first one. X minus 2 and x plus 4. This right here shares an 8. That's great. And then here we share a 2, right? We share a 2 right there. So that'd be 2 times x plus 5, and at the bottom is the difference of squares. Again, factoring saves the day, as always. So now we're just going to do a simple matter of fact of just erasing, just, simplifying everything to their ones. You're gone, and that 2 and 8 can definitely be simplified. So both that can be divided by 2, which is 1, and 8 divided by 2 is 4. So what do we have? We have the x plus 5 in the numerator, 4 and x minus 4 in the denominator. So now let me erase this because we don't need to look at that anymore, and let's see our answer. There we go. That's what we have. Okay, so B, let's see if you guys can try B. So I would say pause the video and you go for it and see if you can try it. All right, we're back. Let's look at B. So again, we're going to simplify the following division. So again, multiplying by fraction is easy as pie. Flip that second. So we're going to flip U and then change it to multiply. So we flipped it. So we got a lot of things to factor here. This is not very clean. So we got to do a lot of factoring. Fortunately, the very first one, you should notice is the difference of squares. You should notice that you're the difference of squares. So we're going to do 9x squared minus 1. So that's different squares. That's easy. So it's 3x minus 1, 3x plus 1. So let's go over here and make our little factor tree. And so we have a 6 because 2 times 3 is 6. And then we have a 7 that we have to deal with. So we need 6 and 1. So over here we have 3x squared plus 6x plus 1x plus 2. 3x is shared. Only thing you got right here is a 1. So let's see if we're right. Looks like it's going to be 3x plus 1 and x plus 2. There you go. So I am going to erase this so we can have some more room. All right, so now let's go ahead and do our factor little tree for the second one. So we got a negative 14. We need a negative 14 that needs to add to a negative 5. So I'm hoping you guys thought about negative 7 and a positive 2, because that's what I'm thinking. So we have that. So let's go ahead and just drop that in. We don't have to group that one because it doesn't have a coefficient of 3, or its coefficient is 1. Okay, so we have that, and then the only thing they share is a 5. And so that's pretty easy. So now again, let's do some simplifying. So this is going to be gone. We agree with that. X plus 2 is gone. And there we go. We have that flip. So that's not going to be a positive 1. That's going to be a negative 1. So I can say, hey, that simplifies to a negative 1. And so what I have here after erasing this, oh, it didn't erase for me. Get you out the way. You have a negative x minus 7 over 5. All right, let's do one more example that's pretty easy. And it's a multiple choice problem, and it's on your notes. So why don't you guys try that first? And we're back. So it says, when x squared minus 25 divided by 3x is divided by x plus 5 over 9x, the result is. So well, let's go ahead and write the way that's supposed to look. When I divide, I flip my second and multiply. So I've already flipped this. So this got flipped. So this got changed to that. And then I just went on and factored my difference of squares with my 25. And now I can go, x plus 5 is gone. X is gone. 3 and 9 turns into 3. So what I have is 3x minus 5. I don't see that as an answer choice. Oh, yes, I do. And there you go. All right, so this is a pretty easy assignment. I don't think it's too bad. You have a couple of problems to do. Have a good weekend. Friday is not a school day because it would have been a makeup day for weather. So we would have taken it off. And I hope you guys get through this. Text me if you need help. Please try to keep up with your work. I try not to give you too much. Just go ahead and do the assignment, take a picture of it and send it in. I'm also going to go ahead and open up an Alex on this section. So then next week we can kind of finish multiplying rational expressions. So there you go. Have a great weekend. Stay safe.